Hello classmates, for this week's interaction pool, I have decided to create a video and share my notes on Chapter 4 based on our textbook, A Very Short Introduction to Criminal Justice. And to begin, why do we punish? We punish because, crime exists and we need to create a punishment for the criminals offenders. And we punish because society disapproves of the conduct and malbehavior. We also punish because we need to prevent crime and for safety and protection of others, and to hold offenders accountable. So what are the sentencing objectives? They are to do justice and for the courts to measure the correct time for them to serve, either in jail or prison or community service-wise. Also, then, this concept is created with proportionality in sentencing, and all common countries apply this. This is referred to making punishment fit the crime. One common criticism of sentencing is that sentences don't fit the crime, and sentences may be too harsh or lenient. So, sentences' objectives also is to prevent crime through deterring the offender. And then the word general deterrence comes, and it means to penalize and impose to deter potential offenders. Also, second, special deterrence, and it means to prevent the individual before the court. This thought also comes to mind: the threat of punishment has deterred. Research reveals that deterrence is a poor way to preventing crime. Next topic, we are going to discuss rehabilitation, and the concept of rehabilitation is to prevent crime by reforming rather than threatening the offender. This concept is a controversial topic because some people believe it is not effective because people need to change on their own. Courts create a preponderance in terms of helping the offender. So what really works? The textbook asks. And there's no universal answer. One which identifies offenders. So one that identifies the offender's needs. Penal intervention has been successful to help with employment and turn around offenders' lives. So then the next topic is sentencing objectives in practice. So this concept is, it discusses judges make their own judgment based on their pet theories. So some judges prefer imprisonment rather than rehabilitation, and vice versa. Lawyers, some of them practice judge shopping, and this concept is when the lawyer goes up to the judge and before the trial, and I guess they explain. Moving on, for the judges to consider the sentencing objectives, they do legal precedent. Also, they check offenders' background and if they have family. Some consider using the sentencing guidelines. I will discuss a little bit of that on the next topic. Discretion from courts, sentencing, and disparity has led to some courts to sentencing guidelines. Sentencing disparity, the next topic. Judges differ in perceptions. Sentencing varies on court location. This is everything, all of these notes are based on the textbook. One study was given to several judges to impose a sentence on an armed robbery. Some judges decided to impose suspended prison, and others 13 years of prison. Moving on. Sentence of the court. And this is on page 65, and I'm using the Kindle edition. So then the concept or the vocabulary comes adversarial model, criminal justice. Both prosecution and defense propose a specific sentence. So the prosecutor, their job is to read the victim's impact statement and the factors that played. And then the defense is to advocate and to defend the criminal. And it takes time to delay. It takes time to create a sentence, so sometimes these sentences are delayed. And probation prepare pre-sentence, and they help the court judgment to make a sentence. Moving on. Guidance for the courts at sentencing, page 67. I wrote down, sentencing guidelines encourage courts to impose sentence within range prescribed guidelines. Judge have authority to go below or above and must give reason when using the guidelines. Others, judges prefer using the grid system, but some argue it's too simplistic. I don't know really what that means because I haven't really used the grid system. I'm not a judge. Maybe in the future. The textbook stated those in favor of the grid system have much clearer sentence. And then it stated research rely on the guidelines are more consistent. Moving on, mitigation and aggravating factors at sentencing. This topic, Dr. Claridge really explains it. One of the things that I just jotted down was factors play a role in mitigating and aggravating. The textbook provides an example of a person who's drunk at the time. That's mitigate, and using prior history might aggravate the sentence. So moving on, next topic, principal sentencing options, imprisonment, fine, or community order. So these people need to either be suspended, be serving time in jail or prison, or at home. Suspended means offender may never go to prison, and this is threat if they do not obey the law. And community custody is a similar condition or a mere restriction of prison. International variation imprisonment rates. Okay, so this topic, we all know that the United States has the highest rate of incarceration, and this just amazes me that Holland and Germany only account to 7%, while the U.S. have in custody 70%. Heartbreaking. Moving on, financial penalties. So I wrote down fine common, consideration of income. So when the book explained rich may pay higher fines and the poor may pay lower fines, and fines benefit the state, it generates income. However, it takes time to collect the moolah. Community-based punishment topic. The community-based punishment topic, or the concept, is to rehabilitate the offender, reform, and punish. the benefits is that it saves money. We don't have to put, offenders in prison and feed them and cook for them and, have staff supervising them and all this, stuff that needs. And the public perception play a role. They are thought to be too lenient response to crime. So this is in response to community-based punishment. Some people believe, that, it's their sanctions are too lenient. And, but moving on. So if they are sanctioned properly, the offenders serve community-based punishment, and they also rehabilitate. Page 78 through 79, supervising offenders in the community. This theory is creates discretion. So, since discretion exists, restrictions have been imposed. So if the offender breaches condition of parole, he is returned to court. And officers must report breaches of the court. Community or custody, more effective. Which one's more effective? So, of course, community is a better option to rehabilitate offenders. I jotted down because researchers have found that offenders convicted in prison are more likely to be reconvicted compared to offenders who served a community-based sentence. So, you get the concept. So, last topic, you be the judge. So, in regards to this case, my opinion is Mrs. English is not guilty of killing her son, of murdering her son, because possibly she didn't want her son to suffer, and but possibly I'm definitely wrong, because murder, if you murder your son, while he's in a hospital and with all those tubes and everything, it's very crazy. I don't know. You be the judge. Thank you for everyone for listening and stopping by to my interaction pool for week 4. Goodbye.